Hello, everybody who is joining live, and thank you to everyone who is watching the replay. Happy Tuesday. Let me get everything refreshed and ready to go. I already see lots of fun going on in the chat. Everyone talking about where they're living, what time it is, where they are. I know we've got lots of people from all across the country and even on the other side of the world. This does seem to be the best time for everybody. This kind of it's 5 p.m. where I'm at in Texas. Once I'm back in New York, it'll be 6 p.m., but it gives me enough time in case work goes a little bit late, but it's still early enough that then I can cook dinner and still have my evening. So I really prefer this time. I know it might be a little early for those of you over there on the West Coast, but hello everybody, hello. Let me know what you are drinking. I'm actually having iced coffee today. It's not that great. All I did was I made it 30 minutes ago and then I let it sit and basically get cold before I poured it over ice and mixed it with milk. That's all I did. It's not anything fancy. It's literally the same. It's decaf also, but it's the same instant coffee that I normally drink. I just let it get cold, and then I poured it over ice and added my milk. Half and half is what I drink. But hello on the other side of the world, Pearl. Water today. Cycling while you watch. I like that you are multitasking. Hang on, I'm gonna refresh real quick. I am frozen for myself and I'm hoping that it's just me and you guys are not having any issues. So hopefully everything looks good where you guys are. There we go, okay. Now I'm back. Now I'm back up and running. It is good. It doesn't taste as good as going to get an iced coffee from Starbucks, Linda, but it's still fine. Oh my gosh, the water bottle Sidra. I've been struggling with it recently, to be honest. I haven't been finishing it. I was good when I first got it, and the past couple days have been rough. And I feel like once I get behind, it's really hard for me to catch up. Jessica, I'm having a laggy video as well. So it is not just you, because I'm hoping maybe it's just us. I don't know. I don't want to start over because then that sometimes makes it worse and then we get lost. So I'm not gonna start over until we really have no issues. Yeah, maybe try refreshing. I've refreshed twice on my end and now I'm not frozen anymore. So hopefully everybody is okay. Sorry for a little bit of technical difficulties here at the beginning. Anybody watching the replay? Carrie. I have not listened to it since the first episode. And the reason is it's only on Spotify, is my understanding. It's only on the Spotify podcast app. And that's not where I listen to my podcast. So I forgot that there were gonna be more episodes, to be completely honest. I forgot, literally until she spoke last night, I forgot about it because it's not where all my other podcasts are. So I need to go listen to them on Spotify, but I've only listened to the first one that she released. But I want to. I liked that first episode with her husband. Hello, no issues. Okay, everybody seems like they're good now. If you're ever having issues, just try refresh and hopefully it'll be fine. Okay. Hello, Eileen. Welcome to your first live. This is fun. We start with what you're drinking. So if you want to share with what you're drinking, that's what everyone's starting with, and then we will jump in with questions. What questions do you guys have? Maybe it should be, when am I getting a haircut? My hair has not been this long. I can't remember when. I probably was very young, the last time I had my hair this long. What are some of the goals you have with the rest of your time on the coast? Jessica, to pack and to get some videos filmed so I can enjoy the time that we have in Chicago with my mom. That's it. We went to the beach this weekend. That was kind of our last big beach trip. And now at this point, I just want to make sure that we get everything packed. We leave the house in a good state for my family. And then I get some things filmed in advance. Those are the big goals I have. Melissa, in my Moxie Life, do other stickers made for EC Vertical or Happy Planner work for the Moxie Life? Yes, the columns are the same width, and because it's one long vertical column, it doesn't necessarily matter how tall things are. So every kit that I have that's made for it works. Depending on the kit, the washi strips at the bottom, sometimes I have to trim them off slightly, but it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, every kit that I have used, and none of them were made for the Moxie Life that in any of my Plan With Me's that you watched this year. You cut your hair yourself, Kenzie. Oh my gosh, I don't think I'm ready for that. I think I'm gonna venture out once we get back to New York. Given the numbers in New York and given the safety that everybody is taking in New York, I think I feel comfortable venturing out and getting my hair cut when I get home. That's I think my plan. You just got your hair cut today. Yeah, Yvonne, it seems like they're making good decisions with hairdressers. Trying to look at all these. The walk to the beach was hella long. Colleen, it was super long. We can't drive because we don't have a car. That's not why we didn't drive. We don't have a car. So our options were walk or bike. I wasn't just trying to be like healthy or fit. And it was fine. It is what it is. Yeah, Aaliyah, I also hardly ever wear my hair down. If I'm not filming a video or on like a Zoom call, my hair is up all the time now, always, because it just gets in my way and I can't handle it. Rebecca, how do you figure out what you want to do in order to set goals? All of your goals wind up serving everyone else. That is not a juvenile question at all, Rebecca. That is a completely valid question. I actually have a free downloadable on my website. I don't promote this all that often. That is titled How to Figure Out What Your Goals Are. So try that. That might help. For me personally, a lot of it's in my Power Sheets prep work. All the prep work questions that are in my Power Sheets help me figure out what I want my goals to be and what matters to me and not what I should be doing for everybody else. So I think if you could find a goal setting planner like the Power Sheets or the Moxie Life that have some of those upfront questions, that can help you kind of figure out what your goals look like with what's important to you. I think you just have to think about what do you want? And it doesn't mean that there won't be goals that impact other people in hopefully a positive way. That definitely is a possibility. But if all of your goals are like doing things for other people, you need to have some things on there for yourself as well. So I hope that was helpful. I'm happy to answer any further questions. I love everybody talking about you're cutting your hair. Gyms are allowed to start reopening, and I'm nervous to go back to mine. Will you go back once you're in New York? Elizabeth, that's a great question. The question really is, are they going to open in New York City? So the governor of New York State said that gyms could open, and then the mayor of New York was like, no, they're not here. They're not opening. So I don't actually know that gyms will be open by the time we get back to New York. The problem is, based on what I've read, so if you guys remember way back when in January, we actually joined Equinox, which is like super fancy and a little bit ridiculous gym that's actually a national chain. So they're open everywhere else besides New York City. And so I've read all of their procedures and everything and all the fine print on their website for all their other locations, just because I wanted to know what they were up to. And it looks like as soon as it opens, as soon as our home location opens, they're going to start charging us again, and we can't get out of it. We can't postpone. So unfortunately, as soon as it opens, we're going to be paying for a gym. So whether it means we go, to be determined on that. But right now, the state of New York has said they can open, but de Blasio said no way, not Manhattan. So coordinated chaos. Do you have any advice about content planning for new creators? My biggest piece of advice is to go follow The Content Planner on Instagram. Her name is Kat, and she created the actual physical content planner, but she also posts lots of information about planning content and posting content, like generic advice and training. She also has a course that she's about to drop soon, and as soon as that drops, I would sign up for it. I did her live course back in April? I don't know when I did it, which was awesome and was great. That would be my biggest piece of advice about getting more information for somebody who does it for a living. My other big tip would be to start small. So don't overcommit to this many times a week on Instagram and this many times a week on YouTube. Start with something smaller and then build up to it if you want to add more later. It sucks to have to take things away. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, if you have to change it and take away content, but from a consistency standpoint, that's more important than the quantity of content. If that makes sense. Rachel, wedding planning during COVID is the worst. That's how I feel about it. I'm not enjoying it. Jesse, it is not bad that you're having wine before a workout. Cheers. Allison, so empty and so clean, the subway. Honestly, that's like one of my biggest holdbacks about New York is getting on the subway. Like, I'm not ready to be on the subway. Can you swim off the dock? Jen, yeah, I can. We can get in the water. We've done it a number of times and just float off the water. So we will probably get swim before we leave. We're just not gonna end up going back to the beach before we leave. Yeah. Isabella, what is something that you're proud of? That's a good question. I feel there's a lot of things. I'm not hesitating because I can't think of anything. I like want to tell you all these things. One of the things I'm weirdly proud of that I feel like is, I don't know that it's uncommon. That sounds bad. I'm really proud of the relationship that I have with both of my parents. I am very close with both of my parents, and I have really good relationships with both of them. And it's just one of those things that not only am I proud of, but I cherish that a lot. And I'm really thankful that I have them both in my life, and they're both like, we're super close, and we have our different things, right, that we're close with, and like things. My dad and I, one of our jokes is like, he's the tree and I'm the apple, because we just like say the same thing, have the same thought, and we're very similar. And then my mom is like my best friend, and it's just one of my favorite things. Lisa, they opened and then shut back down. Yeah. Has your office announced back to work plans? Are you looking forward to going back, or do you like more remote? That's a great question. So right now, what our office has said is they will not be requiring anybody to go back in person in 2020. They will potentially open up the office for volunteer only in the fall, but that's not finalized, and they haven't announced any details around that, but it will be volunteer only until at least 2021, and then after that, to be determined. I would love a balance. I would love to do part-time at home and part-time in the office, which is what I expect will be the first stage, will be half and half, because I miss my coworkers. Like, I miss that human interaction of being in the office. I miss the coffee cooler. I miss all that, like that aspect of work and being together in person. But I obviously love the things about working from home. I get more time back. I can, paint my nails while I'm on a call. I can wear sweatpants all day. Like, there are things I like about working from home. So I would love a balance. I'm not looking forward to the eventuality of going back full time. I'm not. Isabella, I guess it is possible that we could get an exemption because Sam is high risk, but I don't know what that looks like for them. Sarah, that's a great question. Who gave me the ring I wear on my right hand? So it is a bow. 3 years ago, I don't know, however many years ago, my family went on a cruise for spring break, and me and my mom, there was like shops on the boat, and there was a Pandora. I think that's where it's from, on the boat, and we all got the same ring on the boat. So my mom and my sister have the same one, and we all wear it. So it's from my mom, but it was like me and my mom, my sister all got them. Ashton, have you ever considered writing a book? What is so funny about that is I just talked to somebody about that earlier today. I would love to write a book someday. I have no idea what it would be about, and I have no idea any of the details related to writing a book, but I literally just said that to somebody earlier today, that like I would love to write a book someday. So it's funny that you asked that, like in the same day. Swim like 5 more times. Jenny, I don't know that I'll be able to get in 5 more times. I don't usually do it during the week. Just because the way that our house faces is the water that's closest to our house is already in the shade by the time I'm done with work. So I'd have to get in either in the morning, or I'd have to get in the shade. It's warm, it's Texas, it's the Gulf, it's warm enough to get in right now, even though it's in the shade, but I like to be in the sun. So I would have to, if I'm doing it during the week, I'd have to do it either in the morning or during lunch, which obviously I could totally do working from home, or I can, I'm probably just gonna do it on the weekends. So I don't know about 5 more times. Ashley, I am still loving my routine apps. Tips for mastering them. So my first tip is Don't look at my morning routine and the fact that I have like 8 million steps and like think that you can go from nothing to that in one night, because you can't. That's just not realistic. You need to take it one step at a time. So for you, step one might be getting up earlier. If you already get up with enough time, step one might be doing one thing and then just like letting the rest of the time be, and then doing two things. And once you get something consistent, then you can add on. My other big tip is don't be afraid to tweak it. Even though I have my whole app set up my whole routine set up in the app. Sorry, there's a bug flying around who is massively distracting me. Even though I have my whole routine set up, I still adjust it almost daily. Even if it's by like a minute on one of the things, it takes me a minute less or a minute more, or I move something to a different time, or I add in a transition time or whatever it is. Don't be afraid to like alter it every time that you work on it. It doesn't mean that you're not being consistent about it. I hope that helps. Aaliyah, I do not wear contacts. So I really only need my glasses to see far distance. So I wear them during these videos so that I can read your questions, because my computer is like not right in front of my face. So I wear them, I wear them when I watch TV here because the TV is far from the couch. In New York, I don't need to wear them to watch TV. I wear them to go to the movies, if that ever happens again, to go see plays. Like I wear them to shows, but otherwise I don't. And I wear them to drive because I need to be able to see far away. So I don't have contacts for that because I just always have my glasses if that's the situation. So I don't have any tips for you. Is my apartment good with maintenance issues? Yours is terrible and you don't know what to do. Alicia, do you mean like you're super? I maybe move or try to find a new management company. I've never had issues with mine. I know, Elizabeth, it is a very fall color. Yeah. Will you please spam Instagram photos of Charlie when I get home? Absolutely, Victoria. I will absolutely. I have pictures of her. Obviously, my friend sends me photos of her all the time. And I guess I could share them, but it does kind of make me sad. So I will definitely spam all the Charlie once we get home and are together. Yeah, Linda, I have checked out HandCam Plan. I'm trying to avoid buying stickers. I know I'm going to say that now, and you're going to call me out in like 2 weeks when I buy some more. But man, I don't need as many as I have. And so she does have super cute stickers, but like I don't need any right now. Oh my God, this bug, I swear. So I'm trying really hard to not. But she does have some cute stuff. No, we are not going to get our outdoor space clean when we get back, mostly because it's going to be cold soon and then it's not going to be useful anyways. And also because we might move apartments. Fun fact. We've talked about moving neighborhoods because of rent prices in New York City right now are crazy. And so I'm not going to get it clean just to leave it. Have you ever tried Stitch Fix? Mindy, I did. My struggle is none of it fit right. I think I'm not one of those people who is a consistent size. Like my size really varies on the type of clothing and whatnot. And so I would get boxes and it just wouldn't fit. It wasn't even that it wasn't cute or I didn't like it. It just wouldn't be the right size. I did it because I had a gift card to it, but yeah, it really didn't work for me. I would much rather go shop in person. Wendy, I'm fairly new to your channel. Can you give a little bit of background that you've made public in the past? Sure, Wendy. I'll give you a 60-second rundown. I know a lot of my friends in the chat here have been around for a while, and so I don't necessarily want to bore them. I would point you to all of my Q&A videos because those have a lot about like my life. But the long story short is I'm originally from Texas, but I live in New York City. Right now I'm back in Texas because of COVID. I wanted more space. I'm currently engaged to my fiance. He also is from Texas. We met at a Texas alumni event, the University of Texas alumni event in New York City. By day, I do product development for life insurance, for a large life insurance company. And he does financial planning, financial advisor, financial planner. I don't know what the difference is. He's one of those things. That's the really quick 60 seconds about us. Colleen, we will not be moving upstate. We are staying in New York. The ideal would be actually to move within walking distance of the office so I don't have to get on the subway. Remember the subway discussion? How do you not feel overwhelmed when you can't get into all your planners in the week? Crystal, that's a really great question. If I'm not getting into my planners, I will close them and put them aside and just work off of a notepad. Or my iPad now is what's become my notepad because I didn't bring any notepads down with me. I don't know what I was thinking there. So I just, if I'm getting overwhelmed with them, I just push them aside and work off of a notepad and then say, I'll be back next week, planners, and just take a break. Oh, Wendy, you've only watched. So normally I'm in New York City, and I will be back there in a few weeks. And that will be back to city content, even though what is the city gonna look like? I don't know the answer to that. How many apartments have I lived in New York City? Sarah, it's a good question. I've only lived in 2. So I have lived there almost 8 years, and I moved about halfway. So I lived in one for almost 4, and I've been in my current one for almost 4, which is crazy. That's the first time my mom and Sam met, was when I moved from the first apartment to this apartment. We'd been dating like 6 months, and my mom flew in to help me move, and that was the first time that they met. Not funny? Oh, Isabella, I don't have any really advice on being in between sizes. I'm not necessarily in between sizes. I just meant that I was different sizes in different brands. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a good tip there. I'm sorry. Is my Patreon growing? Are you worrying about being able to give individual attention if it gets too big? Mindy, it is growing, and sure, in the way backs of my mind, I maybe am concerned about that, but I have lots of thoughts and plans on how I'm gonna combat that, which I have some information about that coming soon, how I'm gonna kind of implement that going forward. Sidra, I'm not sure what you mean by product owner. Our definition of a product owner might be different than another company's. When we say product owner, that's somebody who owns it on the technology side, and I am not on the technology side, I'm on the product development side. So I'm a product manager. That's really my title. What are the names of the routine apps? It's called Routine Meister if you have an iPhone. If you have an Android, it's called Routinely. How many planners do you use and consider your staples that you use regularly? So my Moxie Life Weekly Vertical and my Plum Paper Daily and my Power Sheets. Like, those are my 3. I have lots of other additional planners that I'd like to have on hand at all times. But if you were like, you can have 3 planners, those would be my 3 planners that I could have. I don't know who would tell me I could only have 3 planners. That doesn't sound very fun, but those are my 3. I don't have any intention to create a planner one day. For whatever reason, like owning a physical product and like being in charge of a physical product does not appeal to me at all. I don't know. I don't know why, but that's just, it is what it is. Oh, it looks like I'm all cut up. Trying to finish this coffee before it tastes too much like water. What other questions do you guys have? Or I could just go back and tell Wendy more about my life and all the questions that I answer in Q&A videos. How are you finding the Launchpad planner on the iPad? I mean, I like the iPad. I don't know if I can say that I love it because I really don't use it for probably all of its skills. It's mostly just a place for me to make lists and to store them well. It probably helps that I'm down here and I don't have endless amounts of notebooks and notepads floating around for me to grab at. So that's just where I've gone to make lists, is in my iPad. But I also, like I said, I've been using it for the Launchpad planner, and I really like it for that because I can go in and add notes from other things, like all the different resources, learning through podcasts. I heard something even today about it, about being an anti-racist in a podcast and what that means, and I like can go write it down in my Launchpad planner, and it's just that like one source on my iPad, and I really like that. Crystal, I make instant coffee. don't have the counter space for, well, I don't have an espresso first off, and my Keurig got demoted into the cabinet and he doesn't live on the counter anymore. So I just have a kettle and I make instant coffee at home. Mindy, I am still using the cookbook. I started skipping around. I stopped going in chronological order. So I've done like some random weeks now, but I am still using it and still liking it. I know somebody else has told me about freezing ice cube and cube trays, but I haven't done it. They don't have ice cube trays here anyways. That's gonna have to be a New York thing when I get back. My favorite morning coffee is the Four Sigmatic mushroom coffee, which I know you've probably heard every YouTuber and podcaster get sponsored by and talk about, but like I buy it myself and I love it and it's great. It's great. I love it. Is there an easier way to navigate the Plum paper site? Victoria, that's a great question. And the answer I have is no. It is just overwhelming and there's a lot of options. So I would just take it in chunks. I would make decisions in chunks and then go back and work on it later. That would be my tip there. Wendy, I'm in Corpus right now. I'm from San Antonio and that's where my family lives. And I was there for 2 weeks during a quarantine period for my family. But right now I'm in Corpus. Colleen, in a few weeks. I'm not being super precise because I don't want people to like track things. But a few weeks I'm going home. How do I make time for reading? Crystal, great question. There's 3 times during the week that I make time for reading. The first one is in the morning. I try to read for 30 minutes in the morning, and that's usually a nonfiction personal development book. So right now I'm alternating between my anti-racist book, which is So You Want to Talk About Race, and The Lazy Genius Way. So I sometimes I'll do a little bit of both depending on how long the chapters are. Sometimes I'll just pick one in the morning, but that's the morning. And then before bed, and that's where when I read like a fun fiction book, is I'll get in bed and read. It's been really easy here because there's no TV in our bedroom, so I have to read before bed, or I mean, I could just go to bed, but it's easier there. And then I also read on the weekends because I love to read, and so I will make time to read on the weekends. Rachel, my favorite podcast right now. I still listen to all the same podcasts that I listed in 2 quarterly favorites videos ago. But right now I'm still really loving Pantsuit Politics because of all the craziness going on in the world. They don't just talk politics. It's basically like current events. And they are very, they literally, this is their tagline, but they're very grace-filled about it. And they're very like thoughtful about what they research, what they share, and it's so helpful right now to stay on top of everything that's going on. Like today I listened to their episode and I learned so much about this post office situation that I didn't gather from the 8 billion posts on social media. Like it was just much more valuable for me to get the information through this podcast. So that one's probably my number one right now. If I can only listen to one podcast, that's the podcast that I listen to. Jenny, what is one thing you would add to a home office when you and Sam get a larger space that you don't make space for in New York City? The biggest thing for me with a home office, Jenny, is just being able to leave the camera stuff set up and not have to take it down and put it back up. I just want space for that. And really to be able to shut the door. So when I want to leave a mess of stickers and planners, I can shut the door and Sam doesn't have to look at it and Charlie won't chew on it because she likes to chew stickers. So, Carrie, which parts of the Launchpad planner do you think, like I think that some of them are more open-ended. If you haven't done that bias test from Harvard, you need to, first off. I think some of them are open-ended, but then I also feel like there are some good questions that are a lot more explicit, but I also think I've been using it a lot more just as a place to document where I'm learning from other places, like from other videos and podcasts and books. I'm using it just as my catch-all for notes, so they're all together. Mindy, I have not ever gotten into a diffuser essential oils. I have a diffuser humidifier back in New York to be a humidifier, not to put essential oils in. I don't know. I just have never really gotten into it. Elise, I don't know about a live Q&A. Sam and I did a Q&A back in February for Valentine's Day. I don't know if he's ready to go live yet. Let's just put it that way. We've only filmed 2-3 videos together, and I think we need a little bit more practice before he's ready to go live. A video with Sam singing. I can always get him to sing in the vlogs if you guys really want him to sing. Have I listened to the Beyond To-Do List podcast? Mindy, I haven't. I will add it to my list, although I'm behind on some of my favorites, so it might be a while before I add a new one. I'll add it to my list, but before I actually get around to listening to it. Crystal, I don't have any more updates for what they're doing besides what they share on their vlog or their blog posts that they post, so you can go to their website or their blog website, I don't really know the difference, and see what they're doing. Right now, I am done right now. I've said this before, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to use the products that I physically own in my possession already, but I will not be sharing any content or buying any additional products right now. How does one sleep without a TV? Yeah, I know. Yes, Benita, it is called Routine Meister for the iPhone. Annie, I'm thinking about doing a morning routine video. I don't want it to be too repetitive because, like I said, I just filmed a day in the life, which had a lot of my morning routine built into that day in the life video. So it might be a little bit, but I want to. Ooh. Once you feel like you are pretty successful with your routines, how long until you add in habits or another goal? That's a good question, Heather. I like to give it a month just because that coincides with my power sheets, and then I know that I've kind of solidified it. If it's something small, sometimes I'll do it after 2 weeks, but I try to give it a month. Oh my gosh, that's cool, Sarah. I want to be friends with them so badly. Jessica, I don't really want to get into politics right now. I apologize. I'm gonna skip over that question. I could watch a million day in the life videos. Katie, that's funny. They're a lot of work to film. I'm not gonna lie to you. And edit. They're a lot of work to edit. I like them too, but yeah, they're a lot. It's a lot to film and a lot to edit. Also, don't come at me for the plastic straw. I didn't bring any of my reusable straws down here except for the one in my cup, and I don't want to get that coffee-fied. So, and these already existed down here. I didn't buy them. Okay, that's it. Laura, thank you for sharing your name instead of just your handle. I appreciate that. I tried the simplified planners a while back. I haven't tried them in a very long time, mostly because I don't need an hourly planner for my personal life. I do like having an hourly for work, but I do like having the half-hour time slot is nice for work. So I haven't tried one in a few years, to be honest. But I do like, I follow them. I follow Simplified and Emily Lay on Instagram, and I like following them and following along with her life. I feel like I know her children, but I haven't really used their products. How do you get better handwriting? Practice. That's the best way to get whatever you mean by better. You just practice and just practice and practice. And if you want to change something, you change it slightly and then you practice some more and you just write. Even if you're writing nonsense, if you don't know what to write, copy something. Like take a book and like literally copy it word for word. The more that you write though, the better your handwriting will get. Another app question, how do you use it with your planner? So Benita, what I'll do is I will just put in my planner, my daily planner, morning routine. Like that's all that I put there. And then all the other aspects of my morning routine are in my app. And then when it's time to do my morning routine, I will pull out my app and check the things off as I go in the app instead of having to write out all those things. And what I like about that is it allows me to get super granular. Like I have like 20 things in my list because I have it down to like change clothes and like walk downstairs and like things like that. That I wouldn't write all that out in a planner because it would just get ridiculous. And so that's how I kind of use them together. Isabella, what is the best thing you've done for personal development? That's a really great question. I think just making more time for reading. Like, we're just going to go back to that. I think both from a fiction and a nonfiction, like the amount of value that I get from nonfiction, but then also the amount of like happiness and relaxation I get from fiction. But making time for reading has been one of the best things for my personal development. Yeah. Thank you, Teresa. I appreciate that. Annie, there is a link in the description box of this video that you can click on that, and it's got all the additional information. I also did a video about it when it first launched that if you go back a few weeks, that was called How I Hold Myself Accountable. And if you have any additional questions, feel free to message me. Instagram is going to be the best place to message me and have me respond sooner. Emails, I try to get to them as frequently as I can, but I typically don't sit down and physically respond to emails except for once a week. I will check it to make sure there's no time-sensitive emails. I'm talking my Plan with like an email, but I don't respond except until like a week later. So Instagram's gonna be the best place to have a conversation with me if you have any questions. Jessica, I do have a hard time stopping, but if I have a good day, like if I work out and I do all the right things and I have a good day, I will fall asleep. Like I will feel my eyes start to get droopy. Sometimes I have to look at my watch and be like, okay, it's 10 o'clock, turn off the light and go to sleep. But most nights my eyes get droopy, which works. It's crazy. Sarah, yeah, that's a really great idea for the app. The app, by the way, is not just for morning routines or evening routines. It is any routine. You can set up a routine for anything that you want. So yeah, that's a great idea. Yep, Crystal, that's a really great question. And here are my thoughts on it. And this is what I am hoping. So like it may have feel like it died down on social media. And what I'm hoping is that all the people who woke up are doing what they're supposed to be doing off of social media, because that's where the real work is going to happen, right? I can share so many things. I can post all day long. I can invite all the Black voices to be amplified on my profile. I can do all the things on social media, but the work is really going to happen with me learning and reading and listening and learning, and then having conversations in real life. Like that's where the real change is going to happen. And so I want to think that everybody else is like me and that it's still happening. It's just happening outside of social media. And I know that that's probably not true, right? Like there are definitely people who just have forgotten about it and aren't doing what they need to be doing. And so that's why we need to keep posting on social media to remind them to keep doing the work. But I'm hopeful that people are doing some sort of work, you just can't see it, maybe. Do I have a fiction book I'm excited to start after I finish Harry Potter? Katie, yes, I have two actually, both from Black authors that I ordered. I haven't decided which one I'm going to start with. One is Queenie, and then the other one, the name escaped me last time somebody asked me about this. It's the one that's like Game of Thrones, and there's a snake on the cover. So I have both of those ready to go as soon as I'm done. I just started the 7th Harry Potter last night, so I'm on a roll. How do I juggle reading multiple books at a time? Yeah, that's a great question, Caitlin. I think for me, so it used to be just one fiction and one nonfiction, and now it is 2 nonfiction, but that's because one of them is focused on Black Lives Matter and one is just another normal nonfiction. And so I think just having them be 3 very different books is the way that it works for me. Otherwise, I think I would get confused. You need to look up how to use it. Erica, if you have any questions, message me. I feel like I figured it out on my own, but I'm happy to answer questions. Do you use an Apple Pencil to write on your iPad? I do, Aaliyah. I do. I know, Katie, I am going to make it. I was getting a little bit nervous there at the end because it took me forever to get through book 5. Why does that book take so long? I almost like gave up and just moved on. But it took me forever, and then I sped through 6, like this weekend and yesterday. Finished 6 very quickly. So, yeah, I'm gonna make it. But that was the goal. I was getting to the point where I was gonna tell my dad that I was gonna take 7 with me and I was gonna ship it back. which I didn't want to have to do because that sounds like an expensive feature. But I was getting to the point where I was thinking I was going to have to do that because I wasn't going to finish them. But now I'm going to. I'm definitely going to finish it. So, and I started that first one the first night that we got here. Not crazy. I feel like I need to actually finish the last one the night before we leave so that it's really like full circle. Yeah, book 5 is rough, you guys. It's rough. All right, it is already 5:40. Man, the time just flies, you guys. Flies. Any last minute questions? Otherwise, I'm going to ask you my final question. What is one thing you're doing this week to make progress on your goals? It's one thing, one small thing that you can do, that you can do. I know that things are crazy right now. I am sure that a lot of you are feeling overwhelmed with getting back to school, and whether it's you going back to work, to school, to work, those of you who are teachers, or getting your kids back to school, whether that's at home or in person, whatever it looks like for your family. I'm sure you're overwhelmed, but I want you to make sure that you're still focusing on your goals. So what is one thing that you could do for yourself and your goals this week? Creative Catechist, I am going back in a few weeks. I'll be back. Trying to develop a morning routine. I like it. I like it. Trying to eat for energy. That's a good one. Finish your August sending list. That's a great one. Getting up when the alarm goes off, Victoria. I'm gonna check in on you over there. I think, like you said, no matter what, but even if you're not doing what you said you were gonna do, even if all you're doing is getting up when the alarm goes off and then you're sitting there playing on your phone, at least you got up, right? And then once that's a habit, then you can start tacking on those other things. Getting into bed early to read. I love it. Spanish. Ooh, that's fun. New flooring. So many good goals. So many of you working on those morning routines. So many morning time goals. Setting up a routine for your house. That's a good one. Well, remember when a cleaning routine was going to be my Q3 goal? Me too. Ooh, Heather, that's a really good one. A happy playlist. Maybe one of my goals should be to make a happy playlist. I like that idea. I am very much also responsive to music. Like if I listen to the right thing, it can get me focused, or it can get me happy, or it can get me sad if I want to like wallow in something. I very much listen to certain music for certain things. Get your kids on a nighttime routine, Jessica. That's a good one. All right, that is going to be it. Before you head out, please make sure you give this video a thumbs up. And if you're new here, click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you so much for watching. Happy planning.